right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Again, this is Whistle Weekend. The co-host, Jason Hall with Team Home Loans, working with Kyle Whistle since Kyle was 19. Heck, it's almost been 20 years that Kyle and I have been good friends. We've been on this radio show together for 5 years. And I tell about this story every once in a while, but I'll never forget meeting Kyle the first time when he was about 19 years old. And he said, I don't want to be a realtor. My parents got divorced because they're both realtors and they both worked all the time and it just didn't work out. So I will never do this. I'm just going to be an investor only, Jason. And then he got like a $20,000 commission check at 20. And he was like, I want to be a realtor. And he got hooked. And after a few years, he started to really understand the real estate business. And he told me at 21, Jason, I'm going to build the largest real estate team you've ever seen in San Diego. And I went, yeah. He goes, what's that? I go, that's all the talking. I've heard all these guys and gals tell me for years they're going to do all this stuff and they don't do it. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And it's just kind of neat to see it, to even be a little part of it and kind of see it happen. Very, very humbled and proud to see what Kyle's accomplished and how much property he personally owns and how many clients he's helped own property. It's just an amazing thing, amazing young man, and honored to be part of his radio show and part of his team.
Can I comment real quick on Whistle Realty?
Yeah.
Like as you said, I recently switched my brokership to be under EXP and with Kyle.
Yeah, and this is Clayton Connolly, who just came over to the Whistle team in January. So Go ahead, keep talking, Clayton.
Yes. And when people ask me, well, what's your experience like over there? And I tell them, well, it was kind of like I went from driving my grandfather's 2002 Cadillac,
which is a nice car.
It was nice. No, it was good. They got a good name. To driving the 2019 Tesla.
Right.
You just can't compare.
You can't compare.
And it's as accurate as I can get without someone actually joining and saying, oh my gosh, this is like a whole different industry. I literally feel, and I've been doing this since 2004, I felt like I'm starting over at square one.
He's definitely a techie, right? He's more up to date on all the current tech. You mentioned 2019 Tesla. He has a 2018 Tesla, and he loves that car. And he's just up to date on all the stuff going on in the real estate industry, how to make it easier for his agents, for himself, for his clients, how to be one of the top negotiators. And he's always going to conferences, not only, to learn and absorb, but he's also speaking at a lot of them. But a lot of speakers fly in, they speak, and they leave. He also is there to absorb and learn what he can from others. And he goes into a lot of big masterminds where they take him up to the, one of the suites, and they just have 4 or 5 of the speakers kind of talk. He's very involved, very amazing memory. That's one of the key things about him. But also one of the key things is I tell people, because people go, hey, you work with Kyle, what makes him special? I go, well, he's probably not the best agent in San Diego, and he always laughs when I say this, but he's the best marketing agent in San Diego. He's got his name out there. He knows how to market. He got his marketing degree right down the street here at UCSD in the early 2000s, and that's what really helped him start going, but he's always learning. And so I know you brought Jared in, and Jared's identity expert, right, or kind of on branding, like you were saying. So let's talk about that, and let's kind of turn the show over to Jared. So talk about, Jared, exactly what you do from your standpoint. Clayton mentioned on the previous segment, but tell us what you do.
I work with people to understand their unique identity and to understand specifically their unique value and how we articulate that to the public when I help them craft a captivating identity and also one that ultimately compels people to act. If I'm working with someone, helping them with their business, with their brand, with that identity, if it doesn't compel them to act, I haven't done a very good job. So, so I'm working. I've worked with big international brands and lots of nonprofits, charities, NGOs, governments, and things like that across the world. I started out as an activist and ultimately realized that a lot of what I was working on in developing countries, the issues there, I could trace back to the way we do business in America, the way we do real estate, the way we do all these things that we do in America. They affect other places. And I eventually brought myself back here after 10 years in Africa and said, ultimately I wanted to work with guys like Clayton that are contributing to the community in the way that he is. And he's doing business that matters for people that care, to quote Seth Godin, as one of the greatest marketing gods out there.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing for 20 years now, and all kinds of different facets. I do have a podcast. I'm now working.
So mention that. What's that podcast?
Noetic.
And
it's
how
called.
do I find that?
You can go anywhere you find podcast, iTunes, whatever.
How do I spell that then?
Noetic.
Okay.
And it's designed for seekers and thinkers, people that care about the vitality of our planet and humanity, and they want to have a good conversation about it. So I talk about that there.
Nice. We got to get Kyle on the podcast with them. They'd probably have fun interviewing one another and doing some fun stuff.
Indeed, it sounds like it.
Yeah, you guys would. He's probably similar age, I'm guessing, just looking at you, but I might be wrong in the age. But you were born, probably, I'm going to guess, 79 to 82?
78.
See, I was close.
Yeah.
79, 82.
Yeah.
That's not bad for
Not bad.
the oldest guy in the room.
Yeah.
You got nice skin.
Thanks.
So, wow. So you talked a little bit about that. What really got you started, though?
It was directly as being an activist. I was working for American Indian Movement from 17 years old.
So are you American Indian?
I have Cherokee in me, yes, and I've spent a lot of my podcast. My podcast started out with another name, actually, Inipi Radio, but I spent 2 years running that, and that was really just about indigenous wisdom and how we apply that in the modern world today, business and everything else. So yeah, I started out as an activist, but ultimately I was just studying humans. Why do we do what we do? Who are we? Why are we here? My questions for my clients are: who are you? Why are you here? And what are you committed to cause? And I think I was doing the same thing without saying it so eloquently from the time when I was 17 on up. I did, about 10, 12 years in America working on domestic violence issues, working on racial issues and things like that, economic inequality. Then went to Africa. I was all over Europe, Costa Rica, and so on. But ultimately came back and said, I want to work with businesses that are doing work that matters. I want to work with people that are changing the way we do business, creating more community and things like that. So I've been doing that for this whole time, and recognizing that this is really just about who we are and why we do what we do. I want to understand people, and I want to understand. I said a lot of behavioral economic stuff. So how do we compel someone to act? How do we compel someone to change their behavior? So there's been a lot of study about that, and then I get to work with guys like Clayton, fortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.
We, never judge a book by its cover, right? Because as I said here on the radio, when you first see Jared, he's, bald head, he's got some tattoos, but when he opens up and starts speaking, amazingly gifted into speaking, but also the intelligence. I can already tell you're a much deeper thinker than I am. And I'm, I don't know, at least 8-9 years older than you. So thank you for coming in and just sharing even that little bit of wisdom. I could tell you and Kyle would have a lot of things in common, and just good, conversation of, have you thought about this? Oh yeah, here's kind of the studies I've done and some of the things. So wow. What are some of the questions you want to ask Jared Clayton?
Well, one of my initial questions when I met Jared, well, we hit it off, and it was like, he's my brother from another mother, undoubtedly. And then it was about 4 or 5 months later that I said, hey, well, tell me more about your branding and what's that all about. And one of the things that was really captivating is he said, I'm going to brand you, so even if you were to switch careers again and again, 90% of that, if not more, is going to still be the same.
Wow.
It's like, I'm going to brand you, and then it's like the skin of your job around that, because that is, especially
that's who
if
you are.
Yeah,
he really
that's what
gives in
people
and finds out exactly who you are, what drives you, like you said, what makes you tick, why you here.
So my question for you at that time that I think is important for people in general is, a lot of people, especially in the real estate industry, I have half of my smile on my face is from making fun of my fellow agents, because we're all in this together, and some people do it better than others, at least in their presentation. What is the main difference between branding and marketing that you think business owners, especially small business owners, should be thinking about? Because I don't think a lot of people realize that there is a critical difference, and it's important if you want to actually excel in both.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I ran a creative agency in Nairobi for a number of years, and everybody was in branding. Right. So everybody I talked to, I'm a brand guy, brand manager, brand director. And I said, okay, what does that mean? Ultimately, what it meant was like, it was a confusion about marketing and branding. So I started to talk about this a lot. And branding is not just putting your logo on a mug, right? And marketing is really what we do to promote what we've branded. So the brand is really the creation. It's the character. It's the things that people connect with or not. And ultimately, it is your true identity, whether it be an organization or an individual. So that's what we're crafting. And this is the way people are going to experience you. Then we market it. So the marketing is then how you promote that experience that you have deliberately crafted.
Wow. I think we have to hire Jared. And I'm not joking.
It's
I think we're going to have to definitely talk about it.
Best money I've spent in the last year,
No,
undoubtedly.
I believe it. I believe it, Clayton. So as you can see on my picture there, Jared, so I've been a San Diego native my whole life, nearly 50 years, born and raised, absolutely loves San Diego, was a big fanatic for the Chargers. And I love all the players. I hold nothing against that. But as Kyle's teased me, we've talked about on the show many times, when the Chargers were ripped out of this community and being a community guy, I can't support that business any longer. I have nothing against the players. I love them all. But the ownership, Spanos family, who ripped that out of San Diego, really hurt. And had I had to make the move that he made, I would have said something like this. Hey, San Diego, we've tried for years to build a new stadium. The political stuff here, the business people, the mayors, we just can't get anything done. In order for us to compete in the NFL, we have to be able to make a move. But here's what we're going to do. You've been our fan base for 55 years. We're going to become the Golden State Chargers, the Southern California Chargers. We're not going to become the Los Angeles Chargers, because for those born and raised here in San Diego,
Good point.
LA is like a different planet. And I was in Kansas trying to explain that to the Kansas City people and the people in Wichita. It's a different planet. It's, yes, 90 miles apart, but it's a different place. And, you know, people got to do things for a reason, but they just could have handled it so much better. They should have hired somebody like you, right?
Thanks.
You know, because they really could have done something better.
You know, what you're talking about and what you did and that transition that you made in your mindset, I love these guys, can't support them because of this. You're living by your values.
Sure.
I just dropped a podcast yesterday called Living by Your Values. And it should bring you more
And I can
joy.
find that in Noetic, Noetic.
Yep.
I'm looking it up after the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hey, you're listening to AM 1170 The Answer. This is Whistle Weekends. We're going to be right back with Jared, Clayton, and Jason in 2 minutes. Hang tight.